Good evening, everyone. The clock has struck 12, so we must start on time. We'd like to welcome all of you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Haribo. Haribo. This is our meditation room for the Sedona Center Vedic Culture. My name is Dasarath Pandit. So it's a Sanskrit name my spiritual teacher, my spiritual master gave me when I was 19 years old. So I'd like to introduce our special guest tonight. I've known Carol Kepler since probably 1987. Is that right? And I forgot how I was led to her, but you know, if you're try to be about spiritual things, you kind of get led. And she was with another lady, and they together did iridology. You know, took a picture of your eye to show what's wrong with you. Saw in the eye. And she had told me about something she called the Cadillac cleanse. Cadillac cleanse. It was, you know, cleanse your body, do a 5-gallon enema, and every day. And she said if you do this and take these certain herbs for 7 days, you would feel amazing. And so it was like that. And she helped me through a lot of things. She helped me through 2 heart attacks I had when I was 45 years old, and minor stroke. I'd call her because she could do her counseling long distance. She doesn't need to be there with you. She does kinesiology, and some of you may know what that is. If you don't, anybody does, I'm sure she'd be happy to tell you. But anyway, I introduced her to some friends. She helped who had very serious problems, health challenges. She helped them a lot, including my young wife. She has a big, going through some big health challenge right now too, so she's on her formulas and she's having amazing recovery already. So we'd like to introduce to you Carol Kepler.
Thank you for letting us come up here. I've been up since 2000, and I just live in Phoenix. It's just because we're so busy that we don't have time to get up here and vacation with all these wonderful people. And I have 2 of my helpers over there that I would like to introduce. This Kim and Jaga. Jaga actually came all the way. Come on up here. You don't have to turn all around. This is Jaga, who came all the way from California to help us. and she's a Hare Krishna and is in training, has been actually doing this for 17 years. So she's really very good, but came in for the last 2 weeks to do a work study program. So we're so pleased, and she stayed a little longer so she could be here tonight. Jaga. And this is Kim Keppler, my daughter-in-law, and she runs our place. She does everything that I don't like to do. that I don't like to do. and we appreciate that so much, Kim. Thank you too. Thank you. Bless you. And you all, not you all, but 25 of you have a gift in your hand because you got here so early. I think it was about 4:30. I was looking out and there were people here. And the Stress Less is one of our formulas we manufacture under the name of All Waters Technology. And this is water. A chemist would say there's nothing here but water. However, a physicist whose little boy had cancer and started using our system, asked if he could share, if he could work with his researchers and find out what was in here besides water. And when he finished, he said, these are amazing formulas with spectacular results. They have energy in them that we can actually measure, we can read. And so that's very nice to know because I think it was Channel 15 came down undercover once about 15 years ago and said, how do you dare sell water for $40 a bottle? And my son answered it very nicely. He said, because it works. And so this is very special water. It has been programmed with hundreds and hundreds of herbs and other naturals. And so when you put it in your mouth, your body reads only what it needs. So in other words, your body is self-diagnosing If that isn't exciting, this is an amazing body that we have. So one of the things that I can tell you is that probably every single person in this room is either sensitive or hypersensitive. Yes? Actually, we ate lunch at New Frontier, and I looked around and I said, oh my gosh, to our two gals, every single person that I see here, either in the aisles or working, is either sensitive or hypersensitive. And these are very special people. They're on this planet for a very special reason. And I think Sedona has just pulled you all together. And it has been, so it's really exciting for me to realize this. 10 years ago, I didn't realize this. So I want to tell you what you're going to do with this. Because you're sensitive or highly sensitive, and these frequencies are electroceuticals, so they have, they match the harmonic electric of your body. Because we have had such a problem with electric, I call it chaotic electric, in the world in the past 10 years, about 2000 we started getting hit with solar flares. We are now being hit with something worse than solar flares. They're called CMEs, coronal mass ejections. And you all are, unless you have a piece of therapeutic jewelry on that deflects the electric, you have been accumulating electric at the cellular level for, well, since the year 2000. So you probably feel not as well now as you did in the year 2000. And then since mid-June, which is now 11 months, since mid-June we started getting hit with CMEs, coronal mass ejections, and it accumulates in the body. And I'll tell you the three places where it accumulates at the greatest speed. One is the brain's auric shield. It gets shredded with the radiation from the sun now, from the sun. And what happens is you become depressed, anxious. You might have random thoughts. At night it's called mind chatter, and it keeps you awake. If you had any of that, it would be because we're being bombarded with the CMEs since mid-June, last June, almost a year. You could look that up in NASA, under NASA, or spacewatch.com, and it will tell you more about that. And so, because these formulas are electroceutical, they can make the electric clear quickly, very quickly. And it could feel uncomfortable. So when we put these together about 24 years ago, we didn't know about things like that. And so what's happening now, if the electric starts clearing too quickly, you can feel spacey, dizzy, disoriented. It comes out of the central nervous system. You can feel jittery, you can feel fatigued, headachy, and some people say, I feel like that anyway. So, but I want to tell you is that you put this in water, a quart of water, and I brought my water, and I have to finish this before I go to bed tonight, so I need to work on it while we're talking. And you put, if you're hypersensitive, if you feel like you're hypersensitive or highly sensitive, do any of you feel like you're highly sensitive? I'm highly sensitive. Some of you do. Anyone feel like they're hypersensitive? Holy shivers. Holy shivers, that says yes. So you have more electric in your bodies, and we call it chaotic electric as opposed to the harmonic electric of our body that is measured in millivolts. And that's why so many things bother people now. They can walk by a computer or the refrigerator and feel it. They can feel it. It's because you have so much chaotic electric in your body. These frequencies match the harmonic electric of your body. But what you're going to do is you're going to put just drops in your quart of water. The directions are use 10 half droppers. You take a squeeze and it goes up halfway in the tube, and that's 15 drops. Don't do it. Start with a drop or two if you're highly sensitive or hypersensitive, and work your way up in drops. I just have to tell you a little story about this. We had a man come in who had lost his wife several months And he said that he was just really so depressed. And he said, did we have anything? And I suggested stress less. And he took it, and I said, just use, he was not highly sensitive, so I said, use 10 half droppers a day for 3 days. And then do a half a dropper in your quart of water every day. And he came back a week later and said he wanted some more. I said, but this should have lasted you a couple of months. And he said, oh no, I did 10 half droppers a day for 7 days, just like you told me. And he said, I had no stress, I feel wonderful, I want a bottle for myself, and I want a bottle for my friend. And I almost died, because I thought, it should have blown his head off, because he shouldn't have been able to take that much. So I'm telling you, if you got one of these bottles, please start with drops and work your way up until, if you start feeling any of those symptoms, just what you do is back down a drop or two until you are at a comfortable level. So enjoy.
Thank you.
I have so much I want to tell you, and I took some notes, and I have some other things I want to show you. So I took some notes, and I am going to look at these as I go, so I don't forget anything. First, I want to tell you that I'm an energy intuitive. As an energy intuitive, I didn't really know that. I became an herbalist, and I was an herbalist for 12 years. And someone brought me a tape from Dr. Carolyn Mace. You probably have heard of her. She calls herself a medical intuitive. And when I heard about 3 minutes of it, I said, if she's a medical intuitive, then I must be a health intuitive, because I don't do doctors very well, never have. Anyone else feel like that? They don't just do the doctor thing. And so I actually called myself a health intuitive until someone told me, a lawyer said, I can't use that term because his client was using it. It would like be saying, you can't say solar energy because someone else is using it. Anyway, I think it pushed me to realize that I really am an energy intuitive. I can read your energy. I can look at you, or I can hear your voice, or I can see your photo, or someone can tell me your first name, who knows you. Tell me your first name, and I can tell you so much about yourself. It's a knowingness. And we just had a doctor recently name what we were doing. He said, you're working with water, so we're going to call it hydro. And he said, I need another part to that. And he said, I think it's noetics. And noetics is a knowingness, an innate knowingness of something that you don't know. And that's what we do. We have pulled through frequencies that, I have no science background. I'm a teacher, but I've had my regular science in college, but not what I'm doing now. So I can't claim anything. If a doctor had done this or a scientist had done this, they would have thought they did it. I know I didn't do it. All I know is that it's a knowingness that we've been able to pull through or channel through and add to the formulas. The title that I chose was, what did I choose? The name of my new book that I have been collecting the chapters for 15 years, and they were just newsletter articles. And so I had a lady call one day and on the phone from Florida, and she screamed in my ear, I'm high on wellness. And I said, could I use that for the name of my book, because I don't know what I'm going to call this. And so what we're doing is we're working with the idea that we can neutralize chaotic electric that is hurting our body so much. It's such a challenge to our health, the chaotic electric world that we live in. So neutralizing chaotic electric and other challenges to your health and well-being. So we have been working on that for a while. I haven't gotten it together yet because we seem to have a lot of other things that happen to us. And so what we're doing is helping people understand what the water formulas are all about. I gave you a little bit of it when we talked about the stress less. The water formula, my need, when I was 46 years old, I started hemorrhaging 3 weeks out of 4, and I don't do doctors very well. So what I did is I started researching herbs, and I found all of the herbs that would help me. And I also did juice fasting. I did 27 days of a juice fast. Didn't tell my folks what I was doing. My parents, my kids, my husband, they just thought Carol's doing one of her crazy things again. And I ended up going to a doctor who said that I had cancer of the uterus, which I did not accept. I never said I had cancer of the uterus. I said, they told me I had cancer of the uterus. You never want to accept a diagnosis like that. For instance, there was a man on Oprah Winfrey, a young man who was a chef, and he said that he had been told he had cancer of the tongue, and they were going to cut his tongue out, and he said, not cutting my tongue out, I'm a chef. And he had to go to 5 doctors before the 5th doctor said to him, I think we can deal with that. I think we can work with that. So a lot of us have done that. We have pushed ahead, forced our way, past what our relatives and friends think that we should do in order to find another way for ourselves. One of the things that we have discovered is that people who are sensitive and hypersensitive, drugs for them are too harsh. And often, as an herbalist, herbs were too harsh. And these special people that came to us, we used Bach flower remedies, and actually I used Elan, his sister, Elan flower remedies that were better, higher quality. And we used homeopathics, and it worked better for these people than drugs or herbs were. And so we had a lot of people 25 years ago that we didn't really know how to work with. And so all of these years, what we have been doing is we have been trying to find frequencies and add them to these formulas so that we could help these special people. Now, what we have discovered is that 90% of the people on the planet are strong constitutions. Nothing seems to bother them much. They can use drugs, they can use medications, and it works okay for them. And I found out that about 10% were sensitives. And all of the people that we deal with are sensitives. I don't know how they found us, but we seem to have a niche market of sensitive people. And the water formulas work really, really well with them. The sensitives are broken up into 2 classes. One is, the first ones we recognized about 25 years ago were, I called them Zohar 1, first level Zohars, and the ones that we discovered that herbs didn't work too well for and used the homeopathics and flower remedies. And I have some papers up here that you can take if you want to afterward. This one is an article I wrote, Being Special Has Never Been Easy, the Zohar Body Type. So I would say probably almost everyone in this room would be a Zohar body type. And where did that name come from? It came from the book Keys of Enoch. If you know that book, Keys of Enoch, a book of knowledge. And he talks about the Zohars, who are beings of light. And they are here on special assignment. And so what probably almost everyone in this room is a Zohar being of light. Then just about a year ago, we found out that there was another level of Zohars, and so I call it level 2. And the ones that are hypersensitive, if you can look at this chart up here, there is a negative 110 over here on the right, and a positive 110, you can see next to the 1,000 there. This chart was put together by 3 medical people who said my little scale of negative 10 to positive 10 really wasn't going to work very well with medical people. They said medical people understand that negative 110. These are subtle energy units that our body works on, and the positive 110. The people who are hypersensitive, their frequencies have to go to a more subtle level in order to get well. They can't get well without digging deeper and using more subtle energy, like the Bach flower remedies are more subtle, and homeopathics are more subtle. So they have to actually get to this 10,000 subtle energy units, and it seems like a long way for them to have to go, because the average person can go to 110. And I call them earthlings, that they, because I tease about the people that have a hypersensitive system, I said, I think we're from a different planet that has a different energy system, and this planet is too harsh to live here, and because we have to live with this level of chaotic electric. And so I call those earthlings, and they can get well at 110. And you know what? We don't get earthlings. We hardly get anybody that comes to us that are strong constitutions, because they think they're fine. They don't read their body as easily, as well, as quickly as sensitive people do, or sensitives do. And then about 6 months ago, we figured out this positive 1,000 energy units. And I'm one of those. And I kept on saying, I'm not a Zohar. I'm not that sensitive. And Jaga is also a positive 1,000 Zohar, highly sensitive, highly sensitive. So if you feel like you are highly or hypersensitive, afterward, I suggest you pick up one of these, because you will really love this. It'll tell you so much about yourself. I had a gal we work long distance, that's very easy for us. I had a gal in Manhattan about a year ago, said when she saw this, we have it online on our website under Wellness 101, it's articles that we've written. She said, I cried, because this was me and nobody has understood what I've had to go through in my life to be well. And so you'll like this one really well. One of the things that we have had to deal with is electric. And so the electric from the sun, I'm just telling you, the radiation from the sun that we got hit with last June. Has anyone noticed that the sun has gone from a kind of a golden, soft, healing glow to this brilliant, someone's called it snowblind, white, arc light white sun? Most people haven't noticed that. And I noticed the day it hit on June 16th. I was driving home and I couldn't keep my eyes open. And I said, I had enough sleep last night. Why? It was the brilliance was hurting my eyes. I got home, opened the front door, looked through the back of the house. My husband was in the backyard, and I got it. The sun was so brilliant in the backyard where he was working that I started researching. And as I said, if you look under spaceweather.com, Spacewatch, I think it's spacewatch.com, or on NASA, they talk about what has been happening with the sun. And so we have two articles here: the hazardous radiation of our new sun, no place to hide, and also just radiation, just electric in general, electrotechnology, and what some people are saying who have studied it. So you would appreciate those articles too. There's much been written about this. This is a public health SOS. I know the woman who wrote this book, and not her partner, but that one. Her name is, which one is it? Magda Havas, The Shadow Side of the Wireless Revolution. There haven't been a lot of books written on this, and I went to the library. I haven't found very much at all, but this is excellent. These are 110 questions that people have asked because they don't understand what's going on with the electric and why they feel so sensitive to it. And I have another one. Let me see. Oh, I have several here. This is one of the first books I read, Cross Currents, by Robert O. Becker. He wrote another book, The Body Electric, and this is what I do to my books. I wreck them. But he is so good, and he explains it. He was way far ahead of his time. Cross Currents, Robert O. Becker. This is this other book that is really deep. The Body Electric, again, a Robert O. Becker book that will tell more about you if you're hypersensitive. Now more books are coming out, Dirty Electric, they're calling it, Dirty Electric. They don't really understand it, they just know it's, does anyone be bothered by smart meters?
Yes.
The smart meters, a lot of people are frightened of the smart meters they put on our homes because they're so electric and they can feel it. So there are a lot of people recognizing the fact that electric is dangerous. That's one. This is a more recent one by Ann-Louise Gittleman. She has written 30 books. When she finished, when she was going through our program, she said that she was going to write a book. And this is the book she wrote, Zapped, about 2 years ago. And the chapter that she was going to have about energy medicine, her publisher told her, if you put that chapter in, everybody's going to laugh at you. Come on, we know about this, about energy medicine. This isn't new anymore. 15 years ago, it was just beginning to come in. So she took the chapter out. I asked her to send it to me. It was so good. She had done such a good chapter on energy medicine. And energy medicine is really the only thing that is dealing with electric. If there's anything at all, it is energy medicine. What we're trying to do is clear the negative electric energy from the body in order to bring the body back to alkaline, because when you have a lot of electric, it causes the body to go acid, and an acid body is the body where disease lives. All disease lives in an acid body. And everybody kind of gets that, and they're doing green drinks, and they're doing raw eating, and they're doing cleanses, and you cannot get your body back to alkaline like that. What you have to do is you have to cleanse the cells at the cellular level and neutralize everything that would make your body acid. So what else makes your body acid besides the radiation from our sun that we're out in every day? Stress. You have a little bit of help now with your stress less formula. Toxins. And what do we have in toxins? We have just the everyday toxins that we breathe, from the gasoline fumes when you're putting gas in your car, to carbon monoxide on the street as you're driving, to pine sol and Clorox and all of these cleaning materials. Everything, all of the smells that you smell can tox your body, and they stay there forever. You can't clean them out. You have to have something special to clean them out, which is what these formulas do. So radiation and electric causes the body to go acid. Toxins cause the body, and we just added something else. I need to go back. I wanted people to know that medications were toxic. Is anybody on any meds here? Yeah, medications are chemicals. They're chemicals. You put chemicals in your body anyway, including coffee enemas. They're very toxic. No matter how you get it in, coffee is toxic. But these chemicals cause the body to go acid. So I separated out the difference between just everyday toxins that we have in our bodies, get into our body, to meds. So I want people to know that meds are toxic. And we have a system that allows you to take your meds or your chemo all the way through, because the very last formula in our set cleans up all the toxins, the very, very last formula. So we can do that. Also chemicals, and we just learned that recently. I thought those are toxins, but chemicals I was dealing with, and my husband was too. He had been a lithographer, and he was doing plates, photographic plates, and he smelled these horrible chemicals when he was in his 20s, and he got the photographic chemicals on his hands, and he's 84 now. I'm 80. He's 84, and he has struggled all of his life with asthma because he breathed this. And I lived downwind from a plastic factory in New York, so every afternoon at 4:30 we could smell that. You know what plastic smells like when it is melting? It's a sickening sweet smell. Every afternoon at 4:30, from the time I was 6 till I went to college, I could smell that Durez plastic smell. And so those things were in our bodies, deep in our bodies, in our cells, and until the fact that they're there and find a way to neutralize them, we can't get ourselves back to alkaline. So let me tell you what the last thing we discovered just about a week ago. I didn't think of it. Recreational drugs. And we had people who couldn't get well. We had worked with them for a lot of years. They felt so much better. And then when I put recreational drugs in to the formulas, to clean up, to neutralize recreational drugs, and on my chart of 23 items that can cause the body to be acid, I circled recreational drugs and I said, did you ever use recreational drugs? And some people were very hesitant to say that they had done that. In fact, I had a psychologist that got really quiet on the other end of the phone. And I said, even for one day, Keith, even for one day, he said, well, yes. And it doesn't matter. One day, one hit doesn't make any difference. It's still in there, and it can cause you trouble forever, unless you neutralize that out. All of these things that I have been telling you, they've got to be neutralized out. And when you get a symptom of something, like a leaky bladder, say, and it is because of a medication, and we knew about that and we took care of that. But what if it was because of a chemical, or what if that was because of a drug, street drug, recreational drug, and we just found that. And it was only a week ago that we put that in, and it has. In this past week, I have been amazed at how many people it has helped. They can have a list of symptoms half a page long that could not get well because of that. So recreational drugs have been a really terror for us, for a lot of people. I'm too old. They didn't have recreational drugs that long ago. So I'm lucky, and my husband too. We have learned so much in these nearly 25 years that we have been putting these together. I've said, if I had known it was going to take this long to do this, I probably wouldn't have gotten started. But you get on a roll, and you see people getting well. And the reason why we have 80,000, nearly 80,000, thank you, sweetie, nearly 80,000 frequencies of herbs and other naturals in one of these kits, in either one of these. This is a kit for highly sensitive people. This one is for hypersensitive. Of the 10% of people who are sensitive, 9% can use this kit. That only takes 4 weeks to get through. And only 1% needs this one. And as I did the charts for some of the people that I'm going to be working with tomorrow, I saw that. We only needed one person needed this one. And every other person that I'm going to be talking to tomorrow needed the shorter program. Isn't that amazing? I was really surprised. I learned a lot, and I'm my own best guinea pig. And it was Samuel Heinemann that did the homeopathic. He tried everything out on himself. I try everything out on myself. So I don't go to doctors. And I did go when I was hemorrhaging. But when she told me that I needed an operation, I said, no, I don't think so. And so I liked what she said. She said, you might like to talk to my homeopathic physician across the hall. And I said, if I need to, I will. But what I did is I went back and I researched. I did herbs. I researched herbs. And I did 12 years of herbs and iridology before I was able to find answers for that. And what I did is I did juice fasting. I did juice fasting for 27 days and had the hemorrhaging stop. And in 27 days, the tumors that were on my uterus that were as big as half grapefruit went down to the size of plums. I have to tell you though, you can't find produce anymore that have those frequencies in. And if you think that you're buying really good produce from organic markets, they have no frequencies. Because I need Oprah Winfrey to say that. Remember when she said, I will never eat a hamburger again, and she got sued. I think she wouldn't take this one up because she'd probably get sued again. But organics, they are grown so perfectly that once they are picked, if they took them to the market at that point, and maybe it took 3 days to get to the market, they'd be rotting already. And they can't afford that. So what do? They irradiate them. They irradiate them. And you can experiment. Take a regular tomato and take the same kind of tomato that is a organic one. I've done it. It is such fun. And one of them will split and rot in 3 days, mold and rot in 3 days, and the other one sits there and looks at you for weeks and weeks and months. And when I finally cut it open, guess which one lasted? The organic one. When I cut it open, it was a Roma tomato. When I cut it open, it was orange goo inside with seeds. I could see the seeds. And it looked really good on the outside, and it was weeks and weeks. The other one was long gone. It actually collapsed into it looked like someone cut it out of a piece of cardboard, brown cardboard. It was flat on the dish. And so I took it to the grocery store, to Fry's, and showed him. And he looked at me strange, like he just didn't get it. They're not going to listen. They're not going to listen. But there are no frequencies in anything that is organic unless you go to the farmer's market, because they're bringing in the stuff from out of town. But if you go to a local farmer, they're not calling it organic because it costs so much to become an organic farmer. So they just call it natural farming. Smart. You can buy that. We just planted a garden back in New York. We had gardens, and out here we cooked them before they got to be anything. And we're down in Phoenix, and it's pretty hot. And my husband put in Swiss chard and lettuce, 8 plants of each. Oh my goodness, the taste was so different. It was unbelievable, and the cost, of course, is nothing. So if you want to make it just a little garden, you can do that. And the other thing I noticed is I read frequencies, right? So what I did is I checked the frequencies when he brought in the first batch of Swiss chard, and it was, you won't ever have heard this, triple infinity. If this can go to 1,000 or 10,000, it's way beyond 10,000 frequencies. And it was like butter. It was unbelievable. And you can't get that. If you're going to an organic market and you're spending that extra money for organic foods, you're sure wasting your money. Don't even bother. In fact, I read the frequencies, the people working there, and the people going there, they're usually zero, no frequencies, because there's no frequencies in the food. And you need frequencies in order to be well. In order to be well, you need high frequencies in order to give your body energy and also to make the repairs that need to be done. And so most people that are walking the streets now are not on the positive side at all. They're on the negative side, and which is the acid side, which is the breakdown side. And most people are negative 9-0. Probably most people in this room are, if I'm going to read your energy, it would be negative 9-0. And at the last half hour, we'll take some questions from you and see if I can give you some answers. But they also have been calling cancer an acid disease. In other words, if you could just get your body back to alkaline, you wouldn't have cancer. And if you're taking radiation treatments, and radiation is acid, how is that? It isn't going to get your body back to alkaline. No way. If you're taking medications or chemotherapy, chemical therapy, that's going to keep your body acid too. So all they're doing is working on symptoms. They can clear the symptoms, but every single person who has gone through a regimen for cancer, every single person that comes out of it is at a -1, and that is still on the acid side, on the negative side, and they still have cancer. It's going to be back 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, maybe back a couple, 3 times. People go through this again and again. All you have to do is get your body back to alkaline. And it's really easy. All you need to do is cleanse the cells, clean up all the chemicals, all the radiation, all the toxins, and microbes. Microbes love acid. So microbes cause infections, right, and diseases. They thrive in an acid body. So does yeast and fungus. So do parasites. If you have an acid body, they love you, and they're going to live there until you get back to alkaline. As soon as you're alkaline, they can't survive anymore. How easy is that? How come doctors don't know that? Any doctors here? I'm going to get in trouble. So we have something so simple. We have water formulas that allow our cells to be cleansed, allow our body to be cleansed at the cellular level. And once the cells are cleansed, they are functioning so that they can give you energy, and so they can give you, and so they can repair. So there are some things that you need to know beyond that. One is that the most important thing you can do for your body, and I like this, my husband does all the financial things, the things I don't like, and so he is asked lots of times, if I could just do one thing, what should I do? And he has such a good answer. He says, drink water. It was really hard for him to do that. Drink a quart of water a day. You're supposed to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. The bigger you are, the more water that you need. But you can get away with a quart. You can get away with a quart. And that's pretty easy. That's only 4 cups. 4 cups of water a day, you can do that. With the water formulas in, it makes it even better. And with the water formulas, you're able to neutralize all of the negatives that are keeping your body acid. So what we have learned in these almost 25 years is our body is made up of about 75 trillion cells. 75 trillion cells. And each little cell is a battery. It's a battery. And you know the battery in your car, it needs water in order to function. And all you have to do is let that battery go dry, and what happens to your car? I've had it done. I've had it. You turn the key, nothing happens. And so you can do everything right. You can cleanse your body, use our system, and not drink water, and when you get finished, you have nothing. You have nothing. And here's the problem. The cells of the body need to accept the water, and the cells get hardened, so they can't accept the water. So then you're in really deep trouble. And what people say is, that's funny, because I feel like with all the water I drink, some people are drinking a gallon of water a day, and that's really too much. You can wash out your electrolytes with that. But they say, I'm drinking all this water and I still feel thirsty. I am still thirsty, I feel dehydrated. And that's the truth. You are dehydrated because the cells' walls, plants have cell walls. The cell membranes get hardened and the water can't get in. And why do they get hardened? They get hardened because of radiation. Radiation scars the cell walls. They get hardened because of toxins, including meds. Toxins will harden the cell membranes. And what else? Calcification. We eat all these calcium tablets. I have a problem like that. I can't tell you how many, once I learned about health, and my mother used herbs, so I learned pretty early on. I did lots and lots of calcium tablets. And calcium is non-organic in most cases. They have bone meal calcium. Your body doesn't know what to do with that. They have coral calcium. Your body sure doesn't know what to do with that. That's even harder. And the other calcium is dolomite, is rocks. And we're taking all these calcium tablets. I did tons of them. And I built up such calcium in my body that as soon as we started having problems with radiation, with electric in general, because we live in an electric world. Think of your cell phone, your computers, the cell towers, even radio waves are electric.
And all the stuff they're doing Wi-Fi and all stuff in your house.
All of these, and Bluetooth, and you name it, and you're all being calcified. And your body just stores it. You know how many people are having cataract surgery? It's misplaced calcium. Your body and your eyeballs seem to be a pretty good place to store it. And I had that, and my mother and I, she was in her 70s and I was in my 50s, we went to an ophthalmologist. I don't do them either very well. But I went with her, and he checked our eyes, and he said we both had cataracts starting. And I said, what can we do? And he said, nothing. You can have an operation later on. We'll take them off. So I researched and found all of the herbs that would clear calcium from the body. And they're in formulas. I've been working on this a long time. And both of us, we never had to have the calcium, have the cataracts off. They came off with the herbs. We were able to do that. The calcium can end up any place in your body. It causes wrinkly skin. It causes brittle hair that breaks off. It causes, what else? It gets in your joints, so you have problems with your joints. It can settle in the vertebra of your back, which is where it got me. It just can be any place in your body. And then along came all of the electric. And what I got was that all of this calcium that we have been taking all of these years has turned into enamel. I call it enamelization. It's been cooked like the enamel on your stove. It's been cooked by the radiation and the electric that we get every day. So now we have this calcium in our body that is coating the cells and won't let the water in, besides the meds and the toxins that are scarring the cell. And so when you think you're drinking a lot of water and your body can't repair until it has water. Has anyone heard of Dr. Batman Galij? I love his name. Dr. Batman Galij, they call him Dr. B. I even knew how to spell his name. I had him on my radio show twice, and it was the second time that I got what he was saying. He said the cells amp hydroelectric energy in order to self-repair. Hydro, water. Hydroelectric, we have harmonic electric systems. Hydroelectric energy in order to self-repair. So here's another reason. You don't drink water, or you're drinking it by the gallon and it's not getting in your cells. That would be a reason why you're not getting well. So we have a lot of people who over the years have tried a lot of things, a lot of therapies, a lot medicine first sometimes, herbs, of course, a lot of homeopathic. I like the woman who said, she said, I'm using homeopathics now. And I said, how long have you been using them? And she said, 6 years. I said, I would think that if you're still having problems that it's not working for you. She said, well, my doctor told me it would take a long time. 6 years is too long, too long. We have been working with people for many years, but we started with a program that we were just designing at the time. And I have to say that we have learned by the seat of our pants. There's nobody to teach. This hasn't been done before. There's nobody to teach us. And I'm trying to teach people how to do this so that they can do what I do. And when we have a new problem, we have to get the information from someplace else. We don't know. None of us are scientists. None of us are doctors. And so this is the innate knowledge. This is the hydronoetics part of it. It's the innate knowledge. Actually, we were all born intuitive, you know that. And it's been dumbed out of us by first our parents probably, and secondly by our teachers. I'm a teacher. Because there's only one answer. It's in the book. It's on page 32 or 412. And they aren't ready to accept any other answers except what's in the book. So we have people who don't know that they're intuitive. Let me tell you something we've discovered. Once your cells are cleansed, every single person is 100% intuitive. I can tell you how intuitive you are today. 90%, 90, 90, 90, 90, 90. Oh, I bet everybody in here is 90% intuitive. It's probably because you've been taking care of your body. Every single person in here is 90% intuitive. Oh, there's someone back there that's 100%. There are two. Kim and Ajaga have cleansed cells, and I'm 100%. It is so easy. And once you're intuitive, the difficult part is believing it. When you get an answer, you ask a question. It's really easy to ask questions. You get a yes or no right away when you're intuitive. And even at 90%, you're really good, because the rest of the population doesn't got it at all. They don't have this intuition down at all. So you can ask yes and no questions and get right away an answer, as long as it's a simple question, one-part question. And the second thing you can do is pick up numbers really easily. So we have people who are in training with us who first go through the program, because I tried teaching it to people who hadn't gone through the program. It was too difficult. Once you're through the program, oh my, you know so much, you just get it from source. And so we want you to know that you can be, if you think you are not as intuitive as you'd like to be, you can be 100%. So I'm rambling on here. What else have we learned in these 25 years? We have learned that there's a possibility for cleansing, for when you can cleanse the cells this easily. My vision is that we can easily heal the planet because it's so inexpensive. It is a little program like this is $409, and it has 4 cleansing formulas in it, step 1, 2, 3, and 4. It has 2 power formulas. This is stem cells. Got to tell you a story about this. It's completion. I have 2 elderly people who have been health oriented, not using our program, and they went to Panama. They went to Panama for stem cell therapy. $15,000 per person, husband and wife, plus $5,000 for the trip down and their stay. And when they got back, their daughter, who's a cellular biologist, called and said, I want you to check my parents to see how well they did down there. I only found 3 areas that went from -10 to +10. When you get finished with the program, cleansing, and you use a stem cell formula, if you are a highly sensitive person like I am and Ajaga is, your stem cells would go to +1,000, not +10. If you're a hypersensitive person and did the lengthier kit, why do they need more? Because they need to go baby steps. They can't go as fast because they're so hypersensitive. They would dump electric too quickly. So they have 4 cleansing formulas and 4 formulas to expand the time that they are using the kits so that they can do it more easily. And so at the end of their program, when they finish their 8 weeks cleanse and they do their stem cell formula, their stem cells go to 10,000 subtle energy units. And you know what stem cells? They have stem cell research right now that they figure in maybe the next 10 years they'll have it all together. And I said, yeah, but how much is it going to cost? It's going to cost a bundle to have stem cells put in, and I think not nicely. I don't think right now what they're doing is they're taking an auger and going into your bone marrow. I've seen the surgery, and drawing out the bone marrow, which looks like red applesauce, and mixing it with a liquid, putting it in a bottle, and putting it back in your arms. Don't need to do that. It's as easy as drinking a quart of water a day at the end of a 4-week program with that one. We, by the way, also put in memories, but isn't the memories that you're thinking about. These are the memories of the original perfection of your cells. Your cells remember what they were supposed to be, perfect. And we've been able to add other things, memories of past lives. When things have happened, it's that we need to clear up. Memories of abuse, memories of broken heart syndrome. There is such a thing as broken heart syndrome. We added it to this formula also. 2 doctors have written about it. Dr. Chauncey Crandall wrote a book. I got the book, I just haven't had time to read it yet. But we were able to put broken heart syndrome in here. And that is actually a malady because the left ventricle, the heart balloons out, and the top of the heart gets very narrow, so it's very inefficient in pumping, and it's because of having a broken heart. And there's a mighty lot of people who have that, and they can stuff it, but it's still there, and it has done their damage. It has done its damage. By the way, radiation also affects the heart. It not only gives you the radiation does the depression and anxiety because it shreds the brain's auric shield, the aura around the brain that protects the brain from outside influences. But the heart's an electrical organ, so that radiation is also affecting your heart. And so they're going, psychiatrists, psychologists are going to have a lot of business now. You just watch. They're getting a lot of business now. And also, cardiologists are going to be making out big time. And the third doctors that are going to make out big time are the oncologists, because it gets into your bone marrow. Radiation gets into all the cells of your body, but it gets into your bone marrow. When it gets into your bone marrow can't make good red blood cells anymore. And the blood cells are needed to take oxygen to the body so that the body has oxygen for energy and for repair. So if you don't have energy now, in the past 11 months, you probably have bone marrow that has sucked up a lot of radiation. And one of the things that the program does, of course, that most programs don't do. In fact, I'm not sure that anyone is really dealing with electric. Does anyone know, is anyone dealing with electric at all that knows something?
The energy medicine.
It is energy medicine?
Yeah.
That's probably the only one. You know what we're doing is everyone is treating symptoms. Doctors are treating the symptoms. The depression, they'll treat the heart, they'll treat the fatigue, the digestive problems that come along with the anemia from lack of red blood cells. They'll do all of the symptoms, but not only doctors are treating symptoms, but the herbalists are treating symptoms too. There's a pill for every ill with the doctor. Well, with the herbalist, it's an herb for every ill. I know, I was an herbalist. and so this is not the answer. And here's how you can tell. We used to give people, for adrenal stress, we used to give licorice root. In fact, we even found out we could take the licorice capsule and have them tape it over their adrenals, and they didn't even have to take it by mouth, and it would help. But you stop taking that licorice and your adrenals are right back where they started. So that means it really wasn't working, it was just working on the symptom. What we do is we work with root cause. If you cannot find the root cause, then you're just treating the symptom. And so this is definitely where we have to work. We have to deal with the root cause. And I tell my husband that when he has the weed eater out and he's whacking off the weeds, and I said, don't do that. I want to pull them out by the roots because they're just going to come back again. Same way with our body. It's just going to come back again. So we're really excited about the possibility of this. I have to tell you, we just started dealing with Alzheimer's. And you were thinking, when I said memories, you were thinking Alzheimer's, weren't you? I think we have the answer to Alzheimer's. And we had a man in Canada, and he was, his memory was slipping, and his wife had done this program. And so she took him to the doctor. Actually, she went to the Canadian Alzheimer's Society, which was a really good place to go. And they diagnosed with stage 4 Alzheimer's. And she immediately ordered the kit because she had used it. And in 4 weeks, this 1, 2, 3, 4, step 4, already there was a turnaround, a reversal, and they had never seen a turnaround. He now has gone from no memory. His wife had to do everything, take care of him. He couldn't drive. They didn't put him on meds. She wouldn't give him. She didn't give him the meds that they prescribed for him. So he's just been plain formula. He's now has his own business in his garage. He refurbishes canoes and boats. He climbs ladders. He uses drills and electrical saws, and he drives. And his wife said, I have my husband back, and better than I ever remember him. How about that? Really easy. We have an Alzheimer resident facility that is connected with Banner Hospital in Phoenix. And they are considering allowing me to come and talk to the families of the residents and tell them what I'm telling you tonight. And it's a 24-bed facility, and they have 22 beds filled there. And there may be 3 or 4, and they're physicians who would like to experiment with the program, and we're going to donate. We're going to donate the kits to them and have them do it right there at the facility. And we're really excited about that because we have one person now who has done this, and that's a really good start, because now if we can get 3 or 5, then maybe we can get the funds for a full-blown program. And I'm thinking of crowdfunding, that Kickstarter kind of thing. I'll bet if we put that out there, we'll get the money to be able to do that fund. The woman who is the nurse ahead of that facility said about $1.5 million, but I think we could do that. And that is a disease that has no good ending. There's no way to turn it around. There's no way to stop it. There really is no way. And it's happening to people younger and younger and younger, in their 40s, in their 50s and 40s now. And so, you know what it's got to be? It has to be that the brain cells the brain membranes are so hardened that water can't get in. And if the brain is little batteries, and we can't get water into those batteries, pretty soon they shut down. Okay, so I figured that one out. I didn't figure it out. I got that one a number of years ago. I had the feeling that it was lack of water in the brain cells. We have another piece to that puzzle now. Every single person that I've checked who has Alzheimer's has CRE, staph infection in their brain. You know what CRE is? I can say it. Carbapenem resistant Enterobacterium. About this long. And it's a staph infection that you pick up in hospitals, in doctors' offices, in care homes, over at New Frontier, any place there's sick people, the carts in the grocery store, on the handles, any place. It's contact. The doctor comes in and hasn't washed his hands and touches something. You touch the same thing. You go home, flip a light switch, turn a door handle, and it's in your home too. Actually, I have an article. Let me show you. I write for the a blog for the Arizona Republic, and this was in the newspaper about probably 6 or 8 months ago. It says superbug now occurring in 42 states. And the Center for Disease Control said it's a staph infection worse than MRSA and worse than C. diff, which they have antibiotics for. And they said they will not have an antibiotic for this for the next at least 10 years. We have it in step 4 in this program and step 8 in this program. We can clear it. We clear that.
Wow.
And they say it's in 42 states. It's at least in 50 states, all 50 states. Not a doubt in my mind. There isn't anyone sitting here who doesn't have the CRE infection. And what they said is if your health, see, you're all health oriented, so it just makes your life miserable. But if you're sickly, if you have a constitution that is weak, what it does, it can kill you. It kills 40% of the people that get this. And there's no way to stop it. They give you an antibiotic and you take care of the symptoms, but it isn't going to kill it, the disease. There was a little boy in the newspaper. I learn a lot from the newspaper and television. I see something and then I do a chart on them. I run a chart, do a scan. And there's a little boy, 9 years old. He's lost his eye. He has a patch on it. He's lost 1 foot and the tips of his fingers. And they don't know what it is. And I know what it is. It's CRE infection. He has the CRE infection. So I think that flesh-eating bacteria, I think it's CRE. And it's been around for a long time. And they don't know what to do. They said the last time they made an antibiotic was 1970. And now it's going to take them 10 years before they are able to get another antibiotic. So we have a way of working with all of these, in all of these areas. let me see if I missed anything. I don't want to miss anything, and it's, oh, I still have time. Do I have time? No, it's 7, is it 7? I can't believe it.
We got plenty of time.
And I need to answer your question. Wait a minute. Oh, let me see. So I can do that. Let me first tell you that what I am dealing with personally, I thought I did. What I'm dealing with personally, sometimes it takes us a long time to get to the root cause. Getting well is like peeling an onion, layer after layer after layer, until you get to the middle, to the root cause. And sometimes if you cut an onion in half, you find a brown layer in there. That would be a bad layer. A clear layer would be nothing, no problem. So when I used to be an herbalist, and when I was an herbalist, people would call me at 5 in the morning or midnight and say, I think I'm dying. And it's because the herbs that they were taking were dumping all of these toxins in their lymph system, in their bloodstream, and they had to feel this all over again. And that's not how this works. You just peel off a layer, and you can feel or see what is underneath it. So you may have that feeling, but you peel that off, you get finished with that formula, you peel that off. And so there's some good layers, and that's called window of wellness. You feel, oh my gosh, this is what it feels like to be healthy, to be well, and then, a couple of days later it's gone. But that wellness is so possible. And I have to say, the people who have helped me the most are the people who doctors don't like, and probably herbalists don't like them either, because they're needy. They keep on calling you, say, I still have a problem with my digestion. I, still have that my leaky bladder is a little better, but not where I want it yet. Those kinds of things. And I had a nurse from New Mexico, and I hadn't heard from her in a long time. She'd been on the program. And when she called one day, and I said, oh, I want to talk to Rita. I want to talk to her. I haven't heard from her. I said, Rita, you haven't been calling me. She said, well, I didn't want to hurt your feelings. She said, the program really did work for me. And I said, Rita, if everyone was like that, we wouldn't have 80,000 frequencies in here. As we put them in for people, we never took them out. And your body is so wise that every time you take a swallow of water, you're poured water, I better drink the rest of mine. Every time you take a swallow, through the protein mucous membrane of your mouth and esophagus are read only the frequencies your body needs. 80,000 frequencies will only read what you need. Then it broadcasts them to every cell in your body that needs them. And so that tells me that your body is self-diagnosing. We just give them all the frequencies and your body picks out what it needs. Is that not awesome? We have such an amazing body, and it is so complex. I wouldn't want to be a doctor. I have 2 grandchildren that are studying, one for a husband. My grandson is studying to be, he's going to be, what do they do when it's the mechanical things? He's not going to be a doctor, he's going to do the mechanical legs, and what is it?
Engineer?
Some kind of a biomedical engineer. That's what he's studying, but his wife is going to be a naturopathic doctor. And when Mark was thinking he was going to be an MD, I said to him, Mark, what if someone comes with cancer? And the standard of care is radiation, chemotherapy, or an operation. What are you going to tell him? And he didn't have an answer. And so I'm glad he's going to be an engineer, medical engineer, or whatever he calls it. And it's and they're going to they're going to make bionic people. But you know what? There's nothing in the body that doesn't repair. Nothing, even teeth. I had a medium-sized filling fall out. You like that? Medium-sized filling fall out, and I didn't go to the dentist, and it filled in with a white filling, that I'm not going to have to be replaced in 5 years. And I had 2 little pinholes. One hurt and one I could see, and they filled in. I know eyes repair. These are $9 glasses. I'm not buying any expensive ones because I know my eyes are going to repair it. I'm working on my ears. My ears are enamelized because I took so much calcium and because of the radiation now since 2000, and it is chronic. I hear fine for, a year or 6 months, and then it hits me again. That's chronic. It never goes away. It keeps on coming back. Have you noticed how many ads are in the paper for hearing aids? I love this one because it shows exactly how this works, how the ear works. And so I can, as an intuitive, I can look at this and say, this is not my problem, this is not my problem. Oh, here it is. It's the little stereocilia in the little, in my ear, the little hearing cells way down in. And they have been enamelized. True, confirmed. And so I'm hearing quite well tonight, though, thank the good Lord. And I'm also working on my back, which was enamelized also. So I still have probably 1 or 2 vertebrae that are still tied up. But there's nothing that won't repair. Believe me, there's nothing that won't repair. So what I would like to do now, I would like to entertain some questions from you people. And they can be personal questions. This is fine, yeah?
The program, do you do it only once or do you keep it going forever?
That's a really good question. I forgot that. This is a 4-week program, and then with the 2 power formulas, 6 weeks. In the kit are 3 extra formulas here. They are maintenance formulas, and they last for 2.5 months. You use a half a dropper a day, it comes up halfway in the tube, and you put it in a quart of water and drink this all day long. And we have people who, after they finish the formulas and they finish their maintenance, never do it again. So I call it now preventive maintenance. If you had your car all cleaned up and overhauled, and you took it home and you put gas in the tank, we eat our food, and you never put water in the radiator, in the battery, you never checked your oil, you never checked your transmission fluid. Some of the guys are thinking, you're not having your car? It wouldn't be any time at all and be locked up and not working again. That's the same thing that happens with the body. And we had an attorney in Florida, in Pennsylvania, who after 3 years of not doing the preventive maintenance, she did the whole kit, she did it right, 3 years of no preventive maintenance, called back and said, I just realized that I haven't been feeling as good as I used to. And she said, I need to have my preventive maintenance. She said, I'm never going to let this happen again. But here's a sadder story. Here is a woman who, her kids did it, her parents did it, her brothers and sisters did it, and I didn't hear from her for a long time, Carmen. And she called me one day and she was semi-hysterical. The doctor had just discovered a spot on her liver and told her she had liver cancer of the liver. And I said, are you doing your preventive maintenance? And she said, no. I said, how long? 6 years. 6 years. When you are cleansed, when your body is finally cleaned, and you live in this toxic world, it's only a couple of weeks, and you collected toxins all over again. With this program, it's just a half a dropper of each of those 3 formulas. One of them is for vitamins, minerals, amino acids, phytonutrients. One of them is, in case you get in trouble, this is the one you need. It's micro-enhancer, and it does all the worst toxins, including meds. It does all the worst microbes, including CRE. It does all of the worst radiation, including what's coming from the sun. This is the one you use. You don't have to call me. You just use 10 half droppers a day for a day or 2 or 3, and you can clean it up. And then the 3rd formula, you'll like this one really well. This is called Vitality Plus, and it's 5 formulas in one, and it was a longevity formula. I like that. I'm playing with this idea. Dr. Alexis Carrel won a Nobel Prize for an experiment with a chicken's heart. Out of the chicken in a petri dish, he just kept on cleaning the fluid, putting more nutrients in, and the heart lived for 17 years out of the chicken in the petri dish. And they got tired of it. So what they did is they just stopped doing the experiment, and the heart just sucked up all the toxins because it was in the dish, and the heart died. And he said, based on that, he learned, he said, if we could ever get the cells cleansed, and that's all we do, this is just a cleanse. So the FDA, listen hard, FDA people, this is just a water-based cellular cleanse. When we get the cells cleansed, they can live, say the scientists, 100, 200, 300 years. And I'm inviting people to my 100th birthday party in 20 years. 93-year-old woman who said, I'll be there. I love it, I love it, I love it. And we can do this, we can do this. I work a 70-hour week, I'm 80, and I don't see that I'm going to be sitting in a hospital or getting an operation, I just don't see that. That's not in my future. And I think a lot of you who have been on a journey, your health journey, probably feel the same way. Yes, do we have another one?
So will that eliminate taking vitamins and everything then too?
Eliminates taking vitamins. And we had 2 cardiologists take my classes, and when they got finished, they're famous. One is a book writer and one is a surgeon. When they got finished, they decided not to do the program anymore. And the reason why, I know, they had formulas, they had vitamins that they sold for heart. And so if we got the people well, if they got the people well on the program, they wouldn't need their vitamins anymore. So I think that was the reason why they probably decided not to go on with the program. Yeah. This has, the first formula has all your vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and phytonutrients with a half a drop per day in your quart of water. More than you could ever need, and your body just chooses what it needs. If you have enough vitamin B in your body, it won't relapse. Easy. Yes, you have a question?
I've been poisoned, I've been nuked. I have gone through incredible things in my last 6.5 years. And what you're saying is you can rejuvenate dead brain cells and other things like that, and I end up flushing them out. I'll flush out the negative and then regenerate.
Actually, what it does, it neutralizes it. It's an instant neutralization. We are probably, I'm pretty sure that we are probably the only company on the face of the earth that would take a problem that you had that the formulas weren't able to take care of, it wasn't in the formulas, and put it in for you. That's why we have 80,000 frequencies. We've been doing this for 25 years. Yeah. What is specific? Can you tell me something specific?
What chemical I was exposed to?
Yeah.
Phenol.
What is it?
Phenol.
Phenol?
Doesn't cause cancer in laboratory rats according to the federal government.
Okay. Phenol. I'm getting that in your system it is -90, so it's very, very acidy in your system. This is -90 is low life force. Here is this is the positive side. Actually, +30 is where Olympic champions are. How about that one? And we go way beyond that. And +10 is 7.35 to 4.5. So this is the average person who thinks they're healthy, right? And then when you start going acid, you hit -10 and you start getting fatigued. You hit -30 and you're so acid that disease is now able to live in your body. You hit -60 and your system starts malfunctioning. You really begin to notice that. You hit -90 and it's low life force. You have low energy. You don't have enough energy to repair your body anymore or to have energy in general. So that phenol is -90 in your body right now. If you use this 4-step system, I'm getting a muscle test. True. If you use this system, the 4th formula in here is the most powerful one. You start with one that is matching your system, low frequency, and you build and build until you get to the step 4. And this one is step 8. And it would take the phenol to +1,000. So you must be a level 2 Zohar that's highly sensitive. You're highly sensitive.
Yeah, I have sensory integration.
Yeah.
That's off the charts.
Yeah. And you're not even hypersensitive. You're only highly sensitive. Anyone else? Yes?
Just, my doctor basically told me, he's a really good immunologist, and he says that people with more severe chronic fatigue, he's a really good researcher, that their immune systems tend to not work so well. And that's what's going on for me. I've been dealing with something really significant for 8 to 10 years. And in this last year and a half, I thought I was going to die because I got so weak. And then about 5 months ago, I found him. But the main question is, how do you see? I mean, I think he's brilliant at the top of his game in terms of doctors and research. And I think that was brilliant when he said about immune system malfunctioning, and that lets the cells get infected. Does your program help with
Yes,
stuff like that?
actually, we call it the repair loop.
Mhm.
If the repair loop has a break in it, it's a circuit. And if it has, if there's anything in the body that isn't functioning, you've broken the circuit and it can't repair, it won't repair. And so that's why we have a list of 23 things that need to be working in your body. And we're going to be doing that tomorrow with a number of people. I have done their charts before. In fact, you have one on your chair. That chart. May I hold this one up? This is what we did for our people for tomorrow. All I had was their name, and I was able to do the whole chart for them. They're already made. So I have a copy for them and a copy for me. And if you weren't able to get in, we can still do it by phone. We'll still do it for you, but by phone. And you filled in the top. So if you just give this to one of our gals, we'll get hold of you and do this chart for you and do it by phone. On the back of that, there is a list of some of the 23 items that we have on our major scan. Relax. Let me take this again. Thank you. I'm glad you're sitting in the first row. Your repair loop. That's the first thing I look at is a person's repair loop, and you would call it your immune system. But there are so much to that. And some of the things that damage the repair loop are listed here. One is body trauma. One is emotional trauma. You get in an accident, you have an operation, they pull your teeth out. That's body trauma, okay? Emotional trauma, a divorce, when you're young or when you're older, and it can throw you into something like this. You lose your puppy when you were 5 years old, and it was traumatizing. I mean, there are a lot of things that can cause that. Toxins, meds, chemicals, recreational drugs can damage the repair loop or your immune system. All of those. Electric, radiation, EMRs can damage it too. There's so many things that can damage the body's immune system, and what we have done is we found 23 things, and so any one of those. It can be something generational or past life that is still bleeding in through this lifetime. We have to put that in also. The infections, the CRE, is once our acid start hitting us, your cell hydration, of course, won't allow you to get well. Painful memories, all of these things. And the last two things out here are unforgiveness and core beliefs. You can do everything right. You can get all the frequencies you need to repair your body, and you can have unforgivenesses, or you can have core beliefs that cause you fear, dread, and terror. And most religions do that to keep their congregants in line. We made a list. It was quite lengthy. There were only like 6 religions that didn't do that. And the Hare Krishna, they're one. Their core beliefs are beautiful. We never have to worry about their core beliefs. But unforgiveness, and what happens is when you have that, you have a steady drip of acid into your system, and you can never get well. And so at the end of our program, we say, do this first, 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and then do your forgivenesses. And we have it online, so people can do it, forgivenesses and core beliefs. And I had to do it for myself, and mine is online, because I had to figure it out. And so I'm hopeful that when you see that, you will be able to, it will help you. And what I see that if you have chronic problems, it's almost every time unforgivenesses and core beliefs. because you can do everything and you'll still have your chronic problem. And as soon as those unforgivenesses and core beliefs are in order, the chronic problems go away easy. Good question. Anyone else?
How do you?
In the back.
I have a question. If you're not financially able to do the whole program and you're moderately healthy, is there one you can start with just to start at some level? Like
A different level?
Like, is there one you can start with without buying the whole
Oh,
kit?
sure. You can buy the first formula, and when you get finished with that, you can buy the second one.
Okay.
But it will take $7 shipping to get it to you, right? And you can buy them one at a time. And it costs a whole lot more by the time you get finished, but yes, you can do that. You might like to play with did you get a stress test?
No.
No, I was gonna say you might like to play with one of those. Singles, we have 34 singles formulas,
Oh,
and you can play with those, they're online.
Oh,
And a really good one is emergency, because so many people had their vital signs are so low, and this will pull your vital signs up. So that one might be a fun one to begin with.
okay.
Yes?
How do you measure frequencies of your intuition methods?
I'm sorry, I'm not getting.
How do you measure frequencies?
How do we make the frequencies?
Measure.
Well, measure them. Measure them. I was going to say, we have a book on how to make them. It's for your physician. And we have Dr. Rustin Roy in the middle of it. He's a famous Indian researcher that did 2 years of research at Penn State pro bono for us, because he's a water scientist. And he was so excited that water could heal people that he did it. That he did it for us, and so we have this. This is for the physician. How do we measure the frequencies? On that chart right there. And what as an intuitive, I pick up the numbers. Remember I said numbers are really easy. Yes and no is the easiest, but numbers are so easy to pick up. Yeah, that's a good question. Thank you.
You say you have 80,000 frequencies, and those frequencies representative of the plant kingdom, the mineral kingdom, our DNA basically? What
It does. The frequencies that are in there are 25 years worth of frequency that cover just about anything. I mean, can you imagine how many hundreds and thousands of people that we have done that for? And so the frequencies cover, I shouldn't say everything. They cover the root cause of the things that cause the symptoms that we have in our body. And the root causes are simple: body trauma, emotional trauma, toxins, electric, generational things. They're the same. And once you clean up the root causes, the symptoms go away.
Right, but the frequencies that you're putting into the bottles are frequencies that represent what?
There are all kinds of frequencies. They started out to be the herbal frequencies, but we've used homeopathic frequencies, we've used flowers, and you just can't even believe the things that we were told needed to go in there. And it has, it's taken a long time and a lot of building, but there's still room in the memories formula and the micro enhancer on step 4. There's still frequencies. I can still put frequencies in, if like the phenol thing. I obviously have that one in because it will, and I don't even know after 25 years. Actually, we have 11 binders that are about 3 inches thick, full of the frequency. A doctor gave us I'm gonna borrow yours, not that one, this one. Gave us this for our hydronoetics, and these are some of our frequencies in here, and they are computer frequencies. You can see them on the bottom here. They're zeros and ones. So what do I know about computers? Not a thing. But these are some of the frequencies that were put in that I don't even know what.
You said to drink water. Is there any specific water that?
That's a good question. Not distilled. Not distilled. It's cooked. Distilled water is cooked, like cooked vegetables or cooked seeds that don't grow. Reverse osmosis works really, really well. It's not expensive. And there's a unit that goes under the sink by Watts that you can get at Costco that costs $200 and some odd dollars. And it's wonderful water, wonderful water. And you just drink a good quart of good water a day and put your frequencies in.
What is the name?
Watts, W-A-T-T-S, Watts, at Costco, yes.
I have a Nikan Aquaphor water system.
I'm sorry, I'm
I
not
have a
here.
Nikan Aquaphor water system where you pour the water in, I pour RO in. It goes through a filter system and it's remineralized. It goes through a series of magnets. What is your opinion about going through the magnetic?
It's a 10. It's a 10, which is good. Anything that is a 10. And when you look for food, if you look at all of the apples and you say, no, 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 oh, this one is getting a 10, and it probably will be a Gala. The Gala apples I've seen, they always are 10s. And most people say, oh, that's the one I buy. Because they're doing it intuitively. Yes?
What about something like epilepsy? I have a brother who's had that since he was 17, and he's been in a barbiturate all of his life.
And how old is he now?
He is 50, I think how old I am. He's 52.
52? He's had it since he was 17, epilepsy. I need a name.
John.
Tom?
John,
and
Adam.
he is your brother.
He's my middle brother. Yes,
Okay.
He's younger than I am.
And his name is?
John.
John.
J-O-H-N.
Okay. I'm picking up the frequency for him is, his repair loop is -90, -90, okay? And he is a highly sensitive person, highly sensitive, not hyper, highly sensitive person. And so he would use this 4-week program with the 2 power formulas, and it would take his repair loop from -90 on the chart, -90 to +1,000.
So you have
Deposit 1,000.
epilepsy.
Mhm.
Okay, wonderful.
So it would get at the root cause, which probably is electric. He has electric
That would
problems,
make sense.
and he has toxic problems,
Oh, I'm sure.
and he has
Bad-
not
bad
body
diet.
trauma, emotional trauma, but those two. He has those two.
Thank you.
Anything else? Yes?
I have another question. Have you ever work on peripheral neuropathy?
I need a name.
Dave?
David, and he has peripheral neuropathy?
Yes.
Okay, I'm getting David is, the David you know, and I'm doing it through you.
Yes.
He's a hypersensitive person.
Yes.
And the neuropathy is nerves, and his nerves are -110,
Yes.
right, bottomed out,
Yes.
-110, and they're inflamed. His nerves are inflamed,
Yes.
and wherever there's inflammation, there's pain. So he's in pain.
Yes.
I'm getting the pain is -10, and -10 pain is unbearable.
Yes.
It's unbearable pain. So he's on meds.
He's trying with, actually, he only as needed, and he's trying vitamins.
Good for him.
Trying vitamins
Only
right
as
now.
needed,
But-
okay.
But.
And with our people, we say, take your meds all the way through, take your chemo all the way through. We're the only ones probably that say,
Okay.
stay on your meds.
Okay.
Because the last formula in both kits, step 4 here and step 8 here, clean up all the meds. However, after you get finished with that formula, you have to keep on doing it as your preventive maintenance. It's in one of the preventive maintenance formulas also. And you have to do 3 half-droppers a day. And you can do your chemo, your radiation for the rest of your life. Your meds, as long as you do, you clean them up every day.
Okay.
So, and then you can wean off as your doctor will allow you.
And you said hypersensitive,
Hy-
so the bigger
he would
kit,
take-
the
yeah,
longer kit.
He would do this one.
Okay.
And we do have an energy scan that we do for people that has 23 things in that we can check out. You don't have to have it because we could tell you which kit he should use.
Okay.
You don't have to have it, but there are people who are education oriented that like to know, that like to understand, like
Yes.
me. Yes?
Did you say reverse osmosis?
Reverse osmosis is excellent. Distilled is bad, 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 bad. I see people who do distilled who have no energy. It just eats them up, the distilled water.
Reverse osmosis is very acidic water.
Reverse osmosis water,
It's because all the minerals have been taken out. And a lot of people here.
not all the minerals. some of the minerals, not all the minerals.
If
all the minerals are taken out,
If
we
you use
just-
a pH paper to test
Okay.
RO water, it will test acidic, at least all the water I've tested. And so many people in this area have dental problems, abscess teeth and all sorts of issues that I think is partly either from that, or if you boil our water, you see the calcium, settle and all these little white things on the bottom, and I've been wondering about that.
We have checked people to see what is the best water for them, and almost every case it is a reverse osmosis is the best. You can say, ask, is it in my highest and best interest to use distilled water? Distilled water, no. Is it in my highest and best interest to use, what kind of water to buy in the store?
Spring water.
What kind?
Spring.
Spring water, just spring water is very good. What's the name of the company?
Just
That's so
not
pure.
just, it's local.
That would be very good. And for me, reverse osmosis is very good. For you, reverse osmosis would be
So,
very
so
good.
you're adding actual minerals, or you're adding the frequencies of
We're adding the
minerals?
frequencies to the frequencies, distilled water won't hold the frequencies. You have to have minerals in, some minerals, and our reverse osmosis takes out most of the minerals but leaves some in. So it does work well, and it's inexpensive too. One more question? Anyone else who didn't have a chance? Because we have two people that have had questions. I'll do both.
My friend George with neuropathy, who is now not able to even walk up the steps or whatever. His name is George.
His name is Stuart. George, I'm okay. And his specific problem
Neuropathy, basically.
is
Neuropathy.
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 Oh, the same thing. Yeah,
Yes.
the same thing. Okay. And his name is Stuart. George. Okay. I'm picking up a negative 110, so that's bottomed out. And he is highly sensitive. He's hypersensitive too. And the formulas would take it to him to 10,000 subtle energy units, so it would work with that. It just cleans up everything in the body so that the cells know how to repair themselves. This is good. And you just had one more.
Just two quick things. One thing I wanted to say about water, Dr. Thomas Cowan wrote a great book, The Fourfold Path of Healing, and I've worked with him before. And he really talks about the inside of our bodies, the water being more like an ocean.
Oh yes,
And when
your
we take
eternal
in-
ocean.
Yeah, when we take in water, if you take it in with a little bit of something in
Salt.
the water, yeah,
Salt.
to
Mhm.
make it more like the ocean, so that the ocean will accept the ocean.
Mhm.
You could speak about that.
Yes.
And then the last thing is, do you see when you check my field, have I gone to the negative 110? Because I think I'm pretty weak. Do you get a
You
reading
sure
on me?
look good. See, you can't tell from the outside, can we? No.
It's
And you have a
French.
really nice spirit. You have a really nice spirit. You are negative, I'm getting negative 90, so you haven't bottomed
There's
out.
hope, yeah.
Yeah, not bad. But you know what? I'm picking up now. So many people in Phoenix, the cars drive by, and I can look at the person in the car and pick up a frequency. Negative 200, and that's not even, I got holy shivers, and that's not even on the chart. This is where people are now. And the people who are dying in the newspaper, when I always check the obituaries, yeah, and all of them that have died are negative 200. So the sun is doing it. If nothing else, the sun is doing it, unfortunately. And by the way, if you're not wearing UVB sunglasses or UV Max, the old sunglasses, the ones that used to be okay, were UVA, ultraviolet A, and they screened out the bad. Now we have blue sunlight. It used to be yellow, now it's blue, so you need UVB sunglasses or UV Max. And you can buy them for $10 in the drugstore, or $5 in Big Lots. $5, and they're good, and they'll work. But from the moment you walk out of your door in the morning till the time you get back at night, you need to have those sunglasses on. Otherwise, you have burned retinas, and if you have burned retinas, that means that you will have blurry sight, only peripheral sight, and you will be legally blind. That means you're not going to be driving, and you're not going to be able to read very well either. And so what you can do is when you clean up the radiation in your body, in your cells, it cleans it up in your eyes. So even if you already have burned retinas, you can clean that up and they will repair. Well, bless your hearts. Thank you all for coming, and thank you, Dr. If you have signed these papers and want us to do a chart off for you, just give this to one of our gals. Say what? Hold for tomorrow, but we'll do it over the phone. Just give us one of our papers.
Should I make an announcement before everybody gets up and moves? Everybody be quiet just for a minute, please. Carol's going to be coming up here, I think, quite regularly. I'm not sure how regularly, but every 3
That's what he
months.
tells me.
Yeah. Well, and, so we made something for dinner tonight. It's a light dinner. It's khichdi, which is lentils, vegetables, and basmati rice. And papadums, which are those kind of big potato chip like things you get in an Indian restaurant. And then also some tamarind tea. So if any of you are hungry, I think I heard a few stomachs. Go back, after you finish. I'm sure Carol will be up here if you want to ask her some questions and so forth. And thank you, Carol, for being here with us.